guest from tonight, 65 years after Bill Haley sang Rock Around the Clock. Rock and roll is alive and well, am I right? I have the greatest job in the world. I am so honored and privileged to be importing Def Leppard into the Hall of Fame. What an amazing... I just want to talk, I can't do auto-cue, but I can do bits of notes. It's old school, okay? You forgive me. I'm going to quote first from the Joe Elliott book of philosophy, which says, you get one chance to do the good shit, don't fuck it up. So this is my guideline tonight, okay? I want to do them justice. I really want to do these boys justice. And I'm not going to tell you a history, I'm just going to tell you my personal view. I want to tell you how these guys came into my life and how important they are. 1981, cast your minds back, 1981, Queen were in a studio in Munich recording an album called Hot Space. And I nipped out to see some friends of mine, Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. And who should be supporting but a young, precocious bunch of boys called Def Leppard. I got there late and I missed them. And I felt so bad about it, I sought out the dressing room and went in to see them, sort of poked my head through the door and said, "Hi guys, I just wanted to say hello because I miss you, I'm really sorry. I'm Brian May from Queen." And they said, "No shit." Which was kind of nice, so I think we got on from that point, and they told me that Queen had been a great influence on them, which is always a great thing for me to think about. Cut to 1983, you know what you do when you're on tour? We're out on tour, and when you're in the cars and the planes and whatever, you hit the button to see if anybody's playing your record. So this is what I'm doing, I'm traveling around. Every time I hit the record, every time I hit the button, I'm hearing this amazing kind of clang, sort of arpeggiated guitar, and I'm hearing amazing harmonies, this big juicy bass line, I'm hearing these huge fat drums, and it's not Queen, it's these young precocious boys. And the song is Photograph, this amazing song, which catapulted them to fame. It was never off the radio at that time, and before the album was finished that it came from, Hysteria, they'd sold 10 million copies of that album, which is pretty rare. 10 times platinum album. Okay, cut to September '83. I'm in Los Angeles again. We're recording an album, which this time is the works, I think. And I go out. This time, Def Leppard are playing the local arena, which is the legendary LA Forum. I go down there, very inconspicuous, I sit at the back. And when these boys hit the stage, I have to tell you, I have never seen anything like it. I've seen some great shows in the Forum, but I've never seen an audience react like that. They got to their feet, they never sat down, and they screamed and shouted the whole way through the performance. Def Leppard killed that night. I went backstage to see them afterwards. They invited me, and just like when we first played in the States, all their mums and dads are there, very proud mums and dads, and I get introduced to them. And the boys say, "Will you come up and play with us tomorrow night?" They had 2 nights, so I said yes. And the rest is history. We played traveling band. It's history, except to say that I nearly lost my career and my life because this is pyromania, and the production has all kinds of fire in it. You know what that is? And actually Joe warned me, he said, "Watch out for the fireworks at the end." I think, no, just be careful. But I'm at the end, we finished traveling, and we're up behind the drums, and there's a kind of chasm in front of us where the fire's about to come out. I have no idea. I'm gone, I'm like giving it all this, and Joe's going, "Brian, Brian!" And I'm thinking he's just kind of appreciating me, you know? He's going, "Brian, Brian, the fire!" Anyway, this huge sheet of flame comes up in front of me, and just in time, Joe's dragged me out of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here tonight. So early on in our career, Joe Elliott saved my life. You know, the history of Def Leppard is incredibly colourful and filled with all kinds of stuff, which I can't even go into because I don't have the time. But they started August 1977 in Sheffield, England. which is not a very glamorous place, and as a lot of people have said here, there's a great urge to get out. They recorded 11 incredible albums, and they played their asses off around the world many, many times. They did it the old-fashioned way. They played and played and played, and they made great music in the studio. They sold eventually more than 100 million albums. They endured being very fashionable and being very unfashionable as well, as sometimes happened, particularly in England, where sometimes the press wasn't very kind, you know. I don't know why this happens, but they kind of got attacked, among other things, for making hit records. Now, can I just remind you what some of those hits were? We got Bringing on the Heartbreak, Photograph, Foolin', Want Some Sugar, Armageddon, Hysteria, Let's Get Rocked, When Worlds Collide, Animal, Love Bites, Rock of Ages, Rocket. It's a lot, that isn't even a full list. They released 50 singles, most of which were hits, and many were #1s. But there was this kind of feeling abroad in the press and in the media, particularly in the UK, as I say, that maybe that made them uncool. Well, let me tell you, those songs, the fact that they wrote real songs that people can sing and carry in their heads is the reason that Def Leppard will be remembered in hearts and minds long after all of us have left the planet. I want to say something about their endurance. You know, the Def Leppard band is a family, an evolving family. I would say the amazing bass man, Rick Savage, is really the founder member. He's the only guy who was there at the beginning and he's here at the end. It's not the end, it's the continuing story. But very soon Joe Elliott joined him, and Joe brought the name with him, which apparently refers to some orally challenged cat of some kind. So these stalwarts are the very birth of the band. But the family grew and evolved and faced all kinds of adversity. The loss of drummer Rick Allen's arm in 1984 was a massive shock and setback, which would have ended the career of a lesser band. But thanks to the incredible fortitude of Rick himself in bringing himself back, and also thanks to the incredible loyalty and cohesiveness of that family, which is Def Leppard, in supporting him when he came back, they actually grew in stature and in every way. Not only Rick, but the whole band benefited in a sense. And I was there at Donington when he first came back for that triumphant return. Amazing. Similarly, the loss of the fantastic riffmeister, I would call him, Steve Clark in 1991, will always be known. What a great player, what a wonderful player. And I think many people thought that that could be a mortal blow to the band, and it could have been for lesser human beings. But the current guitar duo of Phil Collin and Viv Campbell is awesome. In fact, I would say Collin and Campbell are truly frightening as a guitar duo, and it's amazing. Not everybody realizes that these guys are not just crowd pleasers, they embody such an amazing technical excellence, and they have it all, I have to tell you. I regard all these guys as great friends and kind of part of my family. That's why it's so important for me to be here. I wouldn't have let anybody else do this, okay? They all turned up for our Freddie Mercury tribute, which was 1992, and we played together loads of times. And Joe and I, in particular, have shared many precious and fun moments, snatched among the madness of touring life. We have a strong bond, and he's one of my dearest pals. When Steve died, Joe says that the first phone call he got was from me. And when the news got out of Freddie's passing, first phone call I got was from Joe Elliott. These guys are a magnificent rock group. in the classic tradition of what a rock group really is. I'm just going to quote a couple more things. Early on, Joe said, what's the story, the secret of a successful rock group? I said, don't split up. A few years later, he came back and he said to me, I have a couple of other secrets to being a successful rock group. You have to not get fat and you have to keep your hair. I have to say, these guys did not get fat, they did not lose their hair, they did not split up, and they are here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are a great band. They're also as honest and decent a bunch of magnificent human beings as ever came out of Yorkshire, or Britain, or the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to welcome the Induction to the Hall of Fame.
Good to be here. First of all, a massive love and gratitude to our very dear friend Brian May. We love you, mate, and congratulations on the incredible success of the movie. Couldn't have happened nicer show. I'd also like to congratulate our fellow inductees tonight. It's been a real honour to be able to share this stage with the likes of Roxy Music, Stevie Nicks, Emma Zombies, artists that we have admired from a distance for many, many years. Alright, so down to business. We'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge a few people and some significant moments that have played a very important role in getting this band to where it is today. Starting off with our parents. Now back then we were just a bunch of teenage wannabes, living at home, dreaming the dream, and so without their help and encouragement, it would be a lot tougher to be standing up here on this stage tonight. My mum, for example, taught me my first 3 chords when I was 8 years old. I've learned 2 more since, and I've come to realise you don't actually really need them at all. My dad, who lent us £150 to make our first ever recording back in 1978, which was absolutely the launch pad for this very wild ride that we have been on ever since. That's just 2 examples of what our folks did for us along the way. And I could stand here all night with great tales of parental, support and what have you. But as basically, as a major significance, it goes without saying that without their help and their financial support or otherwise, things would have turned out very, very differently. So, thank you, mums and dads. Thank you very much. Another significant moment in this band's birth was the simple act of missing a bus, which is something that I did on 1 August night in 1977. By deciding to walk home instead of waiting for the next one, fate would have it that I would bump into a young kid who I knew to be a pretty good guitar player. That kid was a guy called Pete Willis. Pete was the co-founder of this band and one of the best right hands in the business. Now sadly, Pete couldn't be with us tonight, but I want to emphasise how very important Pete's role was in this band in the early days. He was a terrific player. He had a very mischievous sense of humour, but he brought plenty of great musical ideas to this band. And it was Pete, after a chance meeting in a college canteen, both reaching for the same guitar magazine, introduced us to the late great Steve Clark. Over the following 10 years, Steve made a massive musical contribution to this band. His incredible and unique riffs helped shape some of the most important songs that we will ever write, and it really does go without saying that we love him and that we miss him every day. Two gentlemen who helped take us to a level that we could only previously have dreamt about were Cliff Bernstein and Peter Mensch. They formed Cupine Management, and they looked after us for the best part of 25 years. We will always appreciate the fact that Peter bankrolled this band for years until things started to take off. And boy, did they take off. But not before the most significant contribution that Peter and Cliff ever made, which was introducing our music to our future producer, co-writer and mentor, Mr. Robert John Muck Lang. Now, we first worked with Muck on an album in 1981, an album called High and Dry. But it was 1983 that saw us move into a whole new orbit with the phenomenal success of the album Pyromania. Where we were properly introduced to our new boss for the first time, our wonderfully loyal fan base. Here tonight. For that, I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever. So thank you. You have stayed on board with us for the best part of the following 36 years and supported us through some tough times along the way. But those tough times have helped us make this band what it is today. It's solid, we're appreciative of who we are and what we stand for. Those songs written over the years were always our main priority. You only just have to check out our misguided fashion sense over the years and you will understand where I'm coming from here. And although it seemed that there was always a looming sense of tragedy around every corner, we just wouldn't let it in. But it is true. It did seem that every time that we made some musical headway, life would just knock us back down some more. Pyromania is a raging success. And then Rick has a life-changing accident. He survived it and came out the other side stronger. Rick Allen, everybody. Hysteria gave us the global success that we'd always craved. But then we lost Steve. we survived, and we came out the other side stronger people. That's the way that it's always played out throughout our career. So let's face facts, people here. If alcoholism, car crashes, and cancer couldn't kill us, the 90s had no fucking chance. So, finally, I'd like to just bring this into the now and thank some people who have been helping keep this beautiful machine on the road, hopefully for many, many more years to come. Our manager, Mike Kobayashi. Mike,